Hey guys, Tracy here. Today the video is about my video and photo gear, so stick around to see the cameras that I use and the lenses that I use. When I started getting really into photography and bought my first DSLR, I bought like the cheapest, the most affordable I could find, that the specs weren't that bad. I read a lot of reviews online and that one felt kind of right. It was the Canon 1000D, and I'll show it to you. It's this little baby here. It's very small, as you can see. It has like this tiny screen. I hope there's some shots from it. It's a real baby camera, but I had a lot of fun with it. I learned a lot with it, but then I needed to upgrade it. I never really sold it because I don't know, it's my baby camera. Maybe someday I'll give it to a kid or something to learn about photography like I did. So Canon 1000D, I don't know if outside Europe it has another name, because I've heard it being called Rebel something. In Europe it's EOS 1000D, because I have no clue. When it came to photography, I didn't know what a shutter speed was, I didn't know what an aperture was, I didn't know anything. But it was good for learning. When I started to work to do photo shoots for clients, mainly pregnant women and newborns, that's the area I actually started making money, so working professionally. I started using Canon 70D. I was very pleased with it when I bought it because, you know, from the previous camera was a big upgrade. It had the screen going out, so I could do weird stuff when I went out. It had a lot more modes, even though I shot mainly manual, because by then I was already in college learning photography and I had already read a ton of books about photography and practiced. But yeah, for many years I've used this camera. I still use it. My videos for YouTube are all filmed with this camera. Right now I'm using my other camera so I can show you this one, but it will change in a bit, so don't be startled or find it weird when the image quality changes, because this one is a bit inferior, but it still is a good camera for a medium, you know, photographer. It's not an entry-level camera, but it's very good. I upgraded it because I needed better ISO range. I needed better quality. This is a crop sensor and I needed a full frame, so I ended up upgrading it because my work asked for it. But when I am filming for YouTube, this one works wonders. Also, when I am filming, I usually use this one. It's the kit lens that actually came with it. It's 18 to 55 millimeters lens. I use it because the focusing and even the image stabilizer, it's very quiet compared to other cameras. So for small videos, small projects, it's actually quite good. Not for photos itself, but for video it's quite practical and silent if you want to capture the sound around you. So if you hear weird noises, it's because this lens that I'm using right now, it's not for video. This one is more appropriate. This image you're seeing right now, it's with the Canon 70D, the one I just showed you, with the kit 1855 lens. So you can already tell the quality of the image is different. Of course the framing would never be the same because I'm using a different lens and sensor. Even without being an expert, you can see the difference. You won't hear noise from the lens here. With the previous one, it will probably have tack 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 during the video every time I move, because I used the lens that I love, but for video it's not good. Unless you are doing it manually, because manually it won't make noise. But I was using autofocus because I'm doing this alone and I move a lot. So yeah, what you've seen before is what I use to film, to shoot videos on how can I say it, on a hobby kind of way. I only use that equipment for myself. I sometimes use it if I'm going out, not vacations, but if I'm going out to somewhere I know there are landscapes or something that I can take a few pictures. I will take that equipment because it's lighter and it's easy to carry around, and if something breaks or gets stolen, it's not my work equipment. To work, the lens that I mainly use, it's the Tamron 2470 2.8. It has the ultrasonic silent drive, even though it's still pretty noisy. It has stabilizer that it's great for certain occasions, and the 2470 range helps me a lot. I can use it both indoors with newborns and kids, and I can use it outdoors for portraits as well. So it was a big investment when I bought it, but I got a good price, actually a good deal on it. It was with a discount. I always buy things with discounts, if you haven't heard. But it's a very good lens, and it has helped me in a lot of situations. So for photos, this is a all-around good lens. Canon has an equivalent lens to this one, but it's like double or triple the price, so I went with Tamron. It may have some differences, mainly the weight. I've heard, I've never had the Canon one on my hand, but as I have read, mainly the weight, it's a lot less. This is almost a kilo, I believe. It's very heavy. If I'm doing a wedding with this, at the end of the day, my neck is hurting like bleh, and my shoulders are hurting and my spine is hurting, but still, it's worth it. I also use this lens. Well, it was the first non-kit lens I bought. It's the cheapest, 50mm 1.8. It's a very cheap lens. It's very cheaply made. It's plastic, mainly. But the 1.8 aperture can produce very cool, results if you know how to control it and how to find its sweet spot. Sometimes I'm just going to spend the weekend at my parents' and I don't want to carry heavy gear, so I just take this one with a camera body, and it's good for anything that shows up. Mainly photographing the cat, because I'm always after the cat to take her picture. And finally, for work, the camera that I use, it's this one. You see, it's fairly bigger. I'll show it next to the first camera, the first DSLR I bought. It's fairly bigger. This one has a lens, this one, it's not a lens. Wait, I don't want to drop it. See the difference and all. I'll show it in detail. I'll film it in detail another. But this is the Canon EOS 5D Mark IV. It's a big name, but it's the most recent 5D Marks, whatever you want to call it. I bought it because I needed the upgrade from the crop sensors to the full frame, and because the ISO range, it's so better here. You can go to higher ISOs, ESOs, without getting a lot of noise on the picture. It's still usable, it's still printable. When going from maternity pictures to weddings, for example, or birthdays, parties, events, this one, it's obviously what I need, because with the other one I was very limited. The image quality wasn't the same. I couldn't places without much light, even with an external flash, it wasn't the same thing. So I really needed the upgrade, and when I found a promotion on it, I went ahead and bought it. It cost me almost a liver. It's more expensive than my current car, but it's my baby. So you will always see me being very protective of my camera, okay? The videos you've seen from Olivia, half were filmed with the 70D because I didn't have this one. The footage from, I don't know, maybe when she was 4 months old or something up were filmed with this one, and before that was all filmed with the 70D. That's the one that's filming right now. So that's why I'm saying the 70D isn't a bad camera, and I use it a lot still for photo projects of my own, or for going, you know, on a weekend and I don't want heavy things with me, so I don't always bring this one. I keep it 90% of the times. I keep it for work only, okay? So if it's for me or for family, I use 70D. One of the things I actually love about this and the 70D, it's the built-in Wi-Fi. That means I can just upload, download, whatever. I can transfer a photo I just took to my phone and publish it immediately. I don't need to go to the computer, then put it on Drive or transfer to the cell phone, whatever. I can transfer the photos from here to the cell phone in like less than a minute. I edit what I feel like I need to edit on the phone apps and then publish it. Of course, I don't do that to every photo. It's not rare. I do it for Instagram if it's a personal photo and I don't feel like it needs a lot of editing. Mainly the cat can. But it's a lifesaver because sometimes you feel, you know, lazy about going to the computer to edit, to process it in the right size for the cell phone and then transfer to the cell phone, and you know, I could have bought the Mark III, but it didn't have the Wi-Fi, and for the price difference I preferred to invest in this one because I use the Wi-Fi a lot. Even if I don't publish photos that I transferred from the Wi-Fi, I use it to send to friends, to family, because you know, when I'm sending them in private, I don't need to edit them. Sometimes I just want to show something to my mom that was very cool at the moment, and instead of, you know, going to the computer, blah blah blah, I just send it immediately to her instead of, you know, all that work. I have another couple of lenses. I practically don't use them, so I don't think it's worth even to mention. I'll show you the microphone I'm using right now. It's the Rode. It's a Rode microphone. It's the Video Micro, I believe. Yes, Video Micro. I bought it because it's easy to use. It doesn't need batteries. It's very small. It brought the what they call the dead cat. I had it right here. Oh, it brought this thing, the dead cat, that I use when if I'm filming outside to muffle a bit of the wind, the sounds of wind and all that. And it's just basically a plug and play, if you can say that. You just have to plug it in the camera and it's ready to use. You don't need batteries, you don't need adjustments. So for very simple projects and videos, this is a very nice and cheap microphone as far as camera microphones go. I have a set of continuous lights for video and this flashlights for photographs, but since I very rarely use them, I don't think it's worth mentioning, at least for this video. Maybe later on I'll show it to you. Right now I'm shooting with natural light from a big window that I have in my beautiful bedroom, so yeah, I very rarely use artificial light. I used it before in some videos because I only had time to film at night, and lamps from the ceiling are very crappy to do video or photos. I hope you have enjoyed seeing what cameras and lenses I use to do photos and to do video. Photography is really a learning process, and it's something you never stop learning because there are always new cameras, new lenses, new technology. The basis is always the same since film time since analog photography. Basically, it's all the same, but some things do change, and photographers need to keep up with it. But I found this would be a fun video to do, so don't take me wrong with it. It's just to show you what I use. It's not to help anyone decide anything. Not that I think someone would want that help, but just to keep things clear before anyone asks, because I used to have a lot of questions like that on DeviantArt and all that, where I used to post photos. So yeah, it was a bit annoying, and you know, it seems like it takes away value of your work, of your learning process, of your photo process. So if you want to learn how to do a similar photograph, ask the photographer how they did it. You can ask for the year they used, because obviously it is important, but learning how to use it, it's much more important. So I think that's basically it. And if you liked it, leave a comment below. Let me know what camera or lenses you use. If you do use anything that I do use, what are your thoughts on it? And I don't know, just leave some feedback. So I hope to see you on the next video. Bye!